A startling warning for students in the East Valley. What health officials are telling schools to look out for Monday morning following a wildland fire. And an inclusive celebration in the Coachella Valley, how you and your family can take part in the music, dance, and rich tradition.
And if you're tired of the hot temperatures that continue to go up, well, I have good news for you. They're going to be in the 70s, and soon we're going to talk timing coming up.
First in the Coachella Valley, you're watching KMIR TV Palm Springs, where the news comes first. KMIR News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Sarah Sanchez. First on KMIR, the Riverside County Department of Environmental Health recommends local schools take precautions after Thursday's fire in Mecca. That fire burned through grape stakes, which may contain chemicals in the ash, such as arsenic. Environmental health staff have taken wipe samples of surfaces, but results won't be available until next week. This may affect two schools in the area, Mecca Elementary School and Saul Martinez Elementary. Out of an abundance of caution, the environmental health is recommending residents and schools in the area clean outdoor tables, benches, playground equipment, and pet dishes. Well, the beat of the drums echo in Indio today as the Cabazon Band of Mission Indians host a powwow. KMIR's Tyler Harrison takes us there.
We all dance to the same drum.
The 36th annual Indio Powwow.
We're sharing history, we're sharing culture, we're expressing ourselves as tribes through dance, through singing. And a lot of tribes have different origination stories of their dance, whether it's the traditional, the grass, the straight, the fancy, the jingle. We're not singling out one specific tribe, whereas all the tribes come together and we all celebrate together.
Togetherness through the universal language of music.
It doesn't matter if you listen to native music or rap or hip-hop, music is healing. And as a result of the music, our body interprets those feelings and we dance. It doesn't matter if you dance at a powwow. Dance is a celebration of life. Music is a celebration of life.
A celebration you're invited to attend.
The dancing is phenomenal. You can tell how proud they are to be here and to perform. Particularly like the drumming. The drumming is something that you can't forget. The beat and the pounding.
Tyler Harrison, KMIR News.
The powwow continues tomorrow. Doors open at 11. The grand entrance is at noon. A Coachella Valley boxer is competing for the gold medal at the AIBA Women's Youth Boxing Championship in India. Citlali Ortiz is 3-0 at the tournament and will be fighting for the gold medal in the welterweight division. Ortiz has 4 gold medals already and has won 3 national championships. She trains at the world-renowned Lee Espinosa Coachella Boxing Club. In round 2 of the championship in India, Ortiz was named the most standout boxer. Ortiz already has her eyes set on the 2020 Olympics, and we hope to see her there. Well, a Belgian man who went missing while hiking in Joshua Tree National Park this past week has been found safe. Joshua Tree search and rescue officials were searching for 18-year-old Jussi Gherkin from Belgium. We were told he's been found safe. No further details have been provided. Now let's get a quick check of the forecast tonight. Luz Delia Caballero is standing by with a look at what we can expect for tomorrow. Hi, Luz Delia.
Hey, Sarah. Well, tomorrow's going to be another toasty day. We are expected to be in the high 80s, but as that low pressure system continues moving into the valley, those temperatures will drop. And I'm not just talking about overnight lows. We're actually going to have peak heat of the day around the mid 70s, and of course our lows even into the 50s. So yes, it is going to be a warm weekend, but it's only temporary as the cool down comes next week. And as far as wind speeds go, rather calm along the valley floor. And of course, current temperatures outside 60 degrees in Cathedral City, 65 in Indio. And although winds will be calm tonight going into tomorrow morning. The Santa Anas will start affecting us starting Monday and Tuesday of next week. Will be a breezy or windy day, and of course that will be reflected both in our peak heats of the day and our overnight lows. As far as overnight lows tonight, 65 degrees by midnight, 64 by 2, by 4, 63, 62 by 6, and by 8, a beautiful 67 degrees. So all in all, we are getting cooler as we move into next week. Sarah, I'll have your 7-day forecast coming up.
All right, thanks, those Delia. A 70-year-old California man who spent almost 40 years of his life in prison for murders he didn't commit is now free. California Governor Jerry Brown pardoned Craig Coley Wednesday. In 1978, Coley was convicted of raping, beating, and strangling a woman and killing her 4-year-old son. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Investigators later determined a key piece of DNA evidence did not match Coley's genetic code. Coley had always maintained his innocence, and investigators now believe the detective who handled his case either mishandled the investigation or framed him.
When they arrested me, I told them, you can do whatever you want to me, but don't stop looking for the person that did this because you have the wrong man.
Brown ordered Coley's immediate release, making him the longest-serving California prisoner to be granted clemency. The man who was going to launch himself into space on a homemade rocket to prove the Earth is flat has canceled his flight. Self-taught rocket scientist and daredevil Mad Mike Hughes planned on launching his rocket today in California. He was forced to cancel his flight because he did not have the required federal permits to launch his homemade steam-powered rocket, but Hughes still plans to launch sometime next week. Just weeks after surviving the mass shooting at the Route 91 festival, a man is struck and killed in a hit-and-run crash. Kelsey Thomas has their story from Nevada.
I'm angry. I'm angry. I feel that he probably was under the influence of something or drunk and didn't want to get caught. So he bailed and left my husband laying there in the street.
It's the outcome Denise McClellan could have never predicted. A hit-and-run driver plowing into her husband as he walked on the highway in Pahrump.
I think if I could have done differently, maybe he wouldn't have been on that road.
It happened a week ago along Route 160. Roy McClellan hitchhiking just weeks after surviving the Route 91 shooting massacre.
It was just ear-piercing. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is that noise? This is horrible.
As round after round of bullets were unloaded into the crowd below Mandalay Bay, Denise and Roy ran for their lives. Roy stopping to help people along the way.
It was really messing with his head, and he was going to therapy.
Less than 7 weeks later, tragedy struck again.
This is not what I wanted for him. I don't understand why he wasn't taken at the shooting, but a month later he gets taken this way.
That was Kelsey Thomas reporting. People bid farewell to a U.S. Border Patrol agent who was killed in a mysterious attack last week. A private funeral mass was held for Agent Rogelio Martinez in El Paso, Texas today. He and his partner were found severely beaten at a tunnel structure near the Mexican border last Saturday. Martinez died from his injuries the next day. The other officer is still recovering. The partner says he doesn't remember anything about the attack. Attorney General Jeff Sessions also attended the ceremony for Martinez. Federal officials are still investigating. President Donald Trump is in Florida for the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. Trump has picked a fight with the national news magazine on Twitter this morning and faces a potential federal agency showdown when he gets back to Washington. NBC's Chris Pallone reports.
President Donald Trump laying low in Florida Saturday. When he returns to Washington, he faces a federal agency standoff and an escalating probe into his campaign's ties to Russia. The president named Management and Budget Director Nick Mulvaney interim head of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, while the agency's former director named his own successor before he left, leaving who's actually in charge an open question. Late today, President Trump tweeting, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or CFPB, has been a total disaster as run by the previous administration's pick. Financial institutions have been devastated and unable to properly serve the public. We will bring it back to life.
The president has appointed somebody who thinks the organization has no reason to exist, similar to what he did with the Department of Environmental Protection.
Trump allies are downplaying news that former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn's lawyers are no longer consulting with Trump's lawyers in the Russia probe.
Whether that means he's going to cooperate against other persons or just try to negotiate a better deal for himself remains to be seen.
And in a less serious matter, Trump this weekend claimed he passed on being Time Magazine's Person of the Year, saying he was informed he would probably be chosen for a second straight year.
The American people don't give a hoot who's on the cover of Time Magazine, and we wish very deeply that our president would concentrate on other things.
Time responded on Twitter, the president is incorrect about how we choose Person of the Year. Chris Pallone, NBC News.
And news from around the world, what South Korean doctors are saying about the health condition of a North Korean defector who was shot along the demilitarized zone. Shocking details about what they found while performing surgery. More ahead. New and
BBC News, the gunfire lasted 45 minutes. Authorities say up to 30 gunmen were firing through all the windows and doors. There was no way out. ISIS has yet to claim the attack, but it's the only group in Sinai capable of mobilizing 30 gunmen, who raised the group's black flag before opening fire. ISIS has lost its so-called caliphate in Iraq and Syria, but it's been gaining strength in Libya, Egypt, Yemen and Somalia.
The ISIS affiliate in Egypt is the most potent affiliate outside of Syria and Iraq. They have more than 1,000 operatives, skilled, fanatical, willing to kill.
After this attack, revenge was swift. Egyptian warplanes bombing vehicles reportedly used in the attack, but most gunmen escaped. None have been caught. This was the darkest day of terror in Egypt's modern history. A country mourning tonight and facing the most ruthless enemy within. And this country really matters. It is the Arab world's most populous country, nearly 100 million people. And there is a war in it right now, and it's a war that Egypt's army and its leader isn't winning. ISIS here, a real threat. Back to you.
North Korea's latest defector is a young soldier only known by the name Oh. According to his surgeon, he's a quiet, pleasant man who has nightmares about being returned to the north. Oh has become a focus of worldwide attention after he was badly wounded by fellow North Korean soldiers as he scrambled across the border in the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea. Medical teams in South Korea have worked for days to remove the shards of at least 4 bullets from his body. They're also treating pre-existing conditions, including tuberculosis, hepatitis B, and a case of massive intestinal worms.
Last night that he had a dream that he was kidnapped to North Korea again, right? Because the patients like him might be really, really anxious that he might get, kidnapped back to, North Korea again. So.
The surgeon said he has asked senior South Korean military officials who were eager to question the soldier to hold off while he recovers.
And if you're tired of being in 90-degree weather, well, I have good news for you, and it comes in the form of a cool down. We're going to talk timing coming up.
And we have an update and a bit of correction for you this evening. That missing hiker, Belgian 18-year-old hiker Ulysse Gherkin, is still missing, according to Joshua Tree National Park. They reported that he was found earlier tonight, but then they corrected themselves and said after further investigation, he's actually still missing. Now, he went missing earlier last week, and he hasn't been heard of. He was by himself, 18-year-old man from Belgium.
And good Saturday night to all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Lustelia Caballero, and I come with good news for all of you. If you're tired of 90-degree heat, well, we are going down from 90 to 80 tomorrow, still in the high 80s, but starting Monday to start our next work week, we're going to be in the mid-70s, and lows are going to be absolutely remarkable, but I'll get into that in just a little bit. Before I do that, I want to thank each and every one of you for continuing to send in beautiful pictures to our newsroom, and of course, if you want to increase your chances of getting featured on our wall. Please post them to your Instagram and hashtag KMIR News. Current conditions at Palm Springs International, a beautiful 67 degrees, dew point and humidity on the rise at this hour, but I do want to note that November has been a very dry month, which is why we've seen a couple of fires towards the end of November, and we are expecting it to be a very dry December as well. Peak heat of the day, 89 degrees. We are above average for this time of year, and back in 1933, we're at 93 degrees, so although we are above average for now, we are still under that record. As far as wind speeds go, we are going to be relatively calm along the valley floor tonight going into tomorrow. But of course, as we move into Monday, those Santa Ana winds are going to affect us here in the desert, which means lows are going to be in the mid 60s, low 60s, and eventually the 50s on Tuesday. It should be a very windy day. So let's start preparing for that now, because of course to the 50s. So Sarah, we are absolutely looking forward to cooler temperatures. I know you like the cold. How do you feel about this?
Well, those overnight temperatures are going to feel really nice. Thanks, Delia. Black Friday is a big day for major retailers, no doubt, in America. But today is for the little guys. How American crafters are going up against the big box stores. Coming up. Etsy sellers join Small Business Saturday, hoping for a Black Friday-like boost in sales. Kate Rogers has the story.
Etsy seller Matthew DeMio has been prepping for the holidays since October. The shopping season is key for DeMio, owner of Mateo Mattia in New Rochelle, New York, when sales for his handmade leather goods can increase by more than 100%.
It's exciting to be around other small retailers and small makers. It's people who think like me, who act like me and work like me. So we're all sort of in the same court together.
The American Express sponsored holiday is in its 8th year and has seen grassroots support for local businesses like this one increase in a big way. Last year, some 112 million consumers reported shopping small, up from 95 million the year prior. And what's more, they spent more than $15 billion on the day. This year, some 7,000 communities nationwide are gearing up to participate in the day.
A small merchant can give that personal service that personal touch, that recommendation, the fact that they know you, they see you, you come back on a daily basis. That's really, really important to consumers, that personalized service. I think that's what a small merchant, a small establishment, small retailer can do to make a huge difference. That customer experience, that unique one, that personalized experience is what makes it special.
That customer experience is what Sarah Stroman believes sets her apart from big box competitors. She'll also be at the Etsy Sellers Marketplace tomorrow selling her handmade stationery. During the holidays, she sees her sales go up by some 50%.
It's completely different to buy something from somebody who's actually physically made it and can tell you about it. And I think that's important.
And data show customers agree with Stroman. According to Amex and the National Federation of Independent Business, 61% of consumers said they are aware of Small Business Saturday, and 82% plan to either shop or dine small on that day.
That was Kate Rogers reporting. Well, coming up, a crazy video, moose on the loose, how the large animal has been creating mayhem for a community all day. Coming up. A moose on the loose creates quite a stir in the suburbs north of Toronto, Canada today. The big 2-year-old bull was caught on camera dodging traffic, galloping through neighborhoods and knocking down fences. It's estimated to weigh between 12 to 1,500 pounds. It was first spotted around 7 a.m. as it made its way to a local airport near a runway. The moose was not captured, but animal experts believe it's taking a well-deserved nap after a long day on the run.
Super tired.
Exactly. With that, let's get a check of the forecast. 87 tomorrow.
Oh yeah, 87 tomorrow, so it's still going to be a warm end to the weekend. But as for next week, absolutely beautiful temperatures, mid-70s, and we're going to break into the 50s as our lows. I mean, can't get any better than that.
It's going to feel great. All right, thank you so much for joining us tonight. SNL is next. Have a good one.